Hello everyone, in this video, we discuss about history of Balenciaga. Cristobal was born on January 21, 1895, and moved to Spain. His father died when he was a child. So their mother raised Cristobal and his four siblings, Maria Barcelona, Lucia, and Walt Martin. Cristobal developed an unexpected interest in high-end fashion after being captivated by the designs his mother was delivering. The machinists noticed Cristobal spending a lot of time in the stall. She had a conversation with him during one of her visits. She noticed his keen sense of design and offered to place him as an apprentice with a fashion designer. He took advantage of the situation. His abilities improved dramatically, and he was frequently referred to as a prodigy. At the age of 24, Cristobal already had a long list of returning customers, the majority of whom belonged to the Spanish noble class. When attending dollars and other formal events, he knew they preferred making a statement with custom dresses that no one else had seen. In 1970, he took advantage of this by opening a couture boutique in San Sebastian, Spain. Aisha, a shortened form of his mother's maiden name, was the name of the boutique. Cristobal's designs for Aisha were an instant hit because they were a unique fusion of European and Japanese fashion. The boutique quickly rose to become the most popular in the country over the next few years. However, the Spanish monarchy was deposed in 1931, and the noble class lost its resources and power. Cristobal went out of business after losing his clients. However, this was only a temporary setback. Cristobal was far too gifted and resourceful not to get back on his feet. In 1937, he relocated to Paris and opened Couture, a house he named Balenciaga from 10th Avenue. George's first collection was met with a great deal of success. 2 years later, he was inspired by 17th century Spanish fashion and released a revolutionary collection in early 1939 as a result of the ongoing Spanish Civil War. Everyone was talking about the collection. Months later, the collection's widespread popularity came to an abrupt end with the outbreak of World War II. Fortunately, his company did not suffer. This time, Balenciaga did not limit himself to high fashion, though some of his recent pieces, such as the square coat, were so iconic that people risked their lives entering France just to buy them. I didn't see Aga come out strong by the end of the war in 1945. Many other fashion brands that were in France to revive French fashion could not say the same. Robert Ritchie, the son of couturier Nina Ricci, came up with the idea of hosting a fashion show exhibit. The relatively new concept entailed displaying miniature mannequins adorned with pieces by various designers. They had to use miniature mannequins to prevent designers from wasting material just to show off their work. Potential buyers would pay in advance to have a design made in their size during the exhibition. The exhibit, later known as Theatre de la Mode, was held at the Louvre. Balenciaga took the designs on tour throughout Europe and America after it was a huge success for Brandon Aga. Although sales were up, Cristobal knew there was still work to be done. He introduced the iconic tunic dress in 1955. This simple dress made a huge statement at a time when dresses were becoming tighter and more gaudy. This tunic was a refreshing change. He doubled down 2 years later, releasing the equally iconic sack dress. The baby doll dress first appeared in 1958. These incredible gowns established Cristobal as one of France's most innovative designers. The news sparked speculation in the media about why Cristobal would rather close his thriving business than hand it over to someone else, such as Oscar de la Renta. Hubert, for one. Cristobal lived a very private life after his divorce and retirement. He stepped away from the spotlight for good. Cristobal never appeared in any of his fashion shows and never revealed any information about his personal life. In fact, Cristobal only granted 2 interviews during his lifetime, both of which took place after he retired. Balenciaga was ultimately just a creative outlet for him, a way to share his gift with the world since he would no longer be designing. He had no desire for the fashion house to exist. Cristobal believed that his imprint on the fashion industry and how it influenced the careers of younger designers was enough to carry on his legacy. Even after the company had closed, he took the time to recommend his apprentice. Hubert, does Yvonne attend to his clients? Givenchy's future success was greatly influenced by the closure of Balenciaga fashion houses in Paris, Madrid, and Barcelona in 1968. Cristobal died 4 years later on March 23 at the age of 77. Following the headline in the Women's Wear Daily News, "The King is Dead." The fashion industry as a whole mourned the loss of an icon. Christian Dior, whose designs were always at odds with those of Cristobal's, referred to him as the master of us all. We know you're wondering how Balenciaga is still in business. After closing the fashion house, Cristobal effectively closed his business. Cristobal retained the right to Balenciaga until his death. Cristobal had no children because he had lived his life as a closed gay man, and his siblings had all died. Because there was no one to actively bring the fashion house back to life, it remained dormant for years. The fashion industry as a whole mourned the loss of an icon. We know you're wondering how Balenciaga is still in business. However, in 1986, the rights to Balenciaga were acquired by Jacob Bogart. Bogart owned a perfume company, and it was widely assumed that he was only interested in the Balenciaga perfume line, which was launched in 1947. Bogart proved otherwise. He recognized the importance of our good name in the fashion industry and decided to make a comeback. In 1987, he hired Michael Gomer, who launched the Balancing August 1st ready-to-wear line. He would also design the Triples trainer that went on to shape the modern sneaker industry. Without a doubt, the road after the death of its founder was difficult for Balenciaga. Companies in the world of fashion, with a current worth of more than $11 billion. Nonetheless, there is no doubt that none of this would have been possible without the spirit and influence of Cristobal Balenciaga. After closing the fashion house, Cristobal effectively closed his business. Cristobal retained the right to Balenciaga until his death. Cristobal had no children because he had lived his life as a closed gay man, and his siblings had all died. Because there was no one to actively bring the fashion house back to life, it remained dormant for years.